Nobody likes hearing the word no. It stings, it unsettles us. It can feel like rejection, like sharp, sudden personal rejection. It can feel like someone's holding a mirror to all the places that we fear that we're not enough. And in that moment, even if it's quiet and polite, it can still feel like a screen that says you're not wanted and you're not chosen and you're not good enough. But here's the truth. The real problem isn't that she said no. It's that you took her no personally. But what does that even mean? Like, to take a no personally? It means that you didn't just hear her words, you gave them a meaning, like something that was deeper to you and more wounding. And you didn't just hear no, thank you, or no, this isn't what I want. Instead, what you heard is, you're unworthy, and you're undesirable, and you're not good enough. So basically what you did is you made her boundary like a referendum on your own value. You turned her autonomous decision into a judgment of your very identity. You transformed this simple limit into a deep wound for yourself. But her no, like her boundary that she was expressing, it was not a statement about your worth. It was an act of self-respect on her part. It was an affirmation of her agency. It was her claiming her rights to decide what feels safe, or what feels right, or what feels nourishing for her. And yet, so many men, we aren't taught how to see it that way. We're conditioned to view rejection as a blow to our ego. And we're told that being accepted, like being wanted, is the ultimate proof that we matter. That someone's yes validates us, and their no invalidates us. And so when the no comes, we don't just feel disappointed, we feel wounded, we feel exposed, we feel lesser than. But the reality is much simpler and much less dramatic. Her no is not about you. It's about her. It's about her feelings. It's about her needs, her safety, her own limits. It's not a value judgment. It's a boundary for her. Imagine walking up to a house with a locked door, and you knock, and no one answers. Does that door's silence mean that you're unworthy? Does it mean that people inside the house hate you? Does it mean that you've failed? Well, not really. It just simply means not here, not now, not this time. It's not about you. It's about the door, isn't it? It's about what's inside, what's protected, what's private. It's about the right to choose who they're gonna let in and when. And her no is that door. It's closed, not as a punishment, but as a choice, as a boundary. But here's where it gets a little complicated. You see, when you take her no personally, you're shifting the whole dynamic. You're making her boundary dangerous, not just to you, but to her as well. And you're making her autonomy something else that she has to be afraid to express. Because if your self-worth crumbles when you hear no, you're asking her, whether you realize it or not, to carry the burden of your fragility. You're asking her to soften her boundaries for fear of hurting your needs. You're asking her, in essence, to manage your emotions instead of managing her own safety. And when that happens, trust erodes and connection withers, and real intimacy, it becomes impossible. Because intimacy cannot grow where no is punished. It can only grow where no is safe. So let's just pause here. Think about the women that you know, the ones that you respect, the ones that you admire, maybe even long for. Imagine what it's like to live in a world where saying no is dangerous. Where setting a boundary might provoke anger or manipulation or withdrawal, even violence. Where a simple, honest no might be met with sulking or guilt tripping or even worse. I mean, it's exhausting, it's terrifying. It teaches you to second guess yourself, to wonder if your no will be honored or weaponized against you. And this is why safety really matters. And this is how you handle her no really matters. If she doesn't feel safe to say no to you, she'll never truly feel safe to say yes. So how do you make her feel safe? Well, it starts with how you respond to rejection. You don't argue. You don't pout. You don't withdraw affection, right? And you don't try to persuade her otherwise when she's given her no. You honor that no, right? You accept it. You treat it with respect. And you recognize that her no isn't about your value, it's about her needs. And you show, not with words, but with actions, that you are a man who can be trusted with her no. But what about this thing though, right? Like, it doesn't feel good. What about that burning feeling in your chest when she says no? What about the stories that flood your mind, that you'll never be enough, and that you'll always be alone, and that everyone else gets chosen except for you? See, those feelings are real, and they're painful, and they deserve your attention, but not her punishment. Sit with them, feel them fully, but don't outsource them onto her. That's not fair. Her boundary did not create your insecurity. It just revealed it. It didn't damage your worth. It exposed where your worth was already fragile. And that's a gift, a painful one, yes, but a gift nonetheless, because now you know what needs healing in your life. Now you know what needs attention. Now you know where to begin the real work of becoming whole. Those are the guys on my bus. You want intimacy? Well, start here. Heal the part of you that equates acceptance with worth. Heal the part of you that makes someone else's boundary about your identity be your focal point. Heal the part where you can't bear the idea of not being chosen, so that you can actually learn how to choose yourself, or at least begin to learn to choose yourself. Because only a man who can respect a no, only a man who can hear a no without crumbling, that's the man who's ready to hold a yes with the reverence that it deserves. And let me be clear, this is not about becoming indifferent to rejection. It's okay to feel disappointment. It's okay to feel sadness, right? But feeling hurt is different from feeling entitled. Feeling pain is different from feeling anger. See, the first one invites growth, and the second one invites destruction. So you can grieve a no without resenting the person who said it. And you can mourn the loss of an imagined possibility without having to punish someone for choosing differently than you. You can love yourself enough to not require every door to open. And you can respect others enough to know that they have the right to choose and close them. So let's talk about boundaries for just a quick sec, shall we? See, boundaries aren't walls. They're not fortresses. And boundaries are not punishment either. What boundaries are is that they are invitations to trust. Boundaries would say something like, here's how I stay whole. Would you be willing to meet me in this place? Or here's how I protect my peace. Would you be willing to walk alongside while I maintain my peace? Here's how I stay true to myself. would you be willing to hear and honor that? See, when you respect someone's boundary, you're not just respecting them. You're actually respecting the relationship that you could have if it was a yes. You're showing that you are safe, not just when things go your way, but especially when things don't go your way. And that kind of safety is rare. It's precious. It's the soil where real connection takes deep root. And real intimacy, I mean the kind that's deep and lasting, is only possible where a no is honored, not tolerated and not endured, but where the no is honored, where no is met with grace and not with guilt, where no is met with understanding and not anger, where no is like a full sentence and not the beginning of a negotiation. Because here's the secret. If she can trust you with her no, then she can trust you with her yes. If she cannot set her boundaries without fear of backlash, she'll never feel free to fully open her heart to you. And you deserve a love that is freely given, right? Not a love that's coerced by guilt, not a love that's won by persistence, not a love that's extracted from fear. But you deserve a yes that's joyful and not obligated. You deserve a connection that's mutual and not managed. You deserve a kind of relationship that's built on choice and not pressure. But you see, that kind of love requires that you be the kind of man who can handle a no, who can hold space for boundaries, and the kind of man who can carry his own worth without needing someone else's acceptance to validate that worth. So what does that look like in practice? Well, it looks like hearing a no and saying, thank you. Thank you for being honest. It looks like feeling the disappointment and still wishing her well, right? It looks like recognizing that her boundaries are a sign of her self-respect and not a sign of your failure. It looks like standing tall in the face of rejection and not shrinking, not lashing out, not collapsing. It looks like loving yourself enough to not need to be chosen by everyone around you. It looks like trusting that the right connection, the one that's built on this mutual trust and real intimacy, this deeper intimacy, that it will never require you to override someone else's no. Because real connection isn't about convincing someone to love you. It's more about finding someone who chooses you freely, who says yes, not because they're afraid to say no, but especially because they trust you enough to say no when they need to. That's what trust looks like. That's what safety feels like. That's what real love is built on. So the next time you hear a no, and you will, remember this. It's not personal. It's not a judgment. It's not an attack. It's a boundary. It's an invitation to respect. It's an opportunity, if you will, to show the kind of man that you are. The kind of man who doesn't crumble when he hears a no. The kind of man who doesn't punish. The kind of man who doesn't beg or bargain or even bulldoze. You're showing the kind of man who stands in his worth and who honors the no, and who, in doing so, proves himself trustworthy enough to be honored with a yes. And you want that kind of intimacy. But to get to that kind of intimacy, start respecting the no. To experience a deeper kind of love, start honoring someone's boundaries. And if you want to grow in trust with them, start by taking nothing personally, because when you stop making rejection about you, when you stop making her no a reflection of your value, It's in that moment that you free yourself and you free her and you free love to grow. A love that's honest and whole and real. I hope this served you well.